Hey, Turning Point Zone, how are you guys doing? I always lose this to see how many people are here. But today we're going to be talking about maximizing your singleness. And I'm here with Turning Point's digital producer, Shamira Cole.
Hi.
And I asked Shamira to be on because when I think of people maximizing their singleness, I always think about Shamira. I think one of the things with being single, this is the time to pursue your passions, to pursue your dreams. And I know that's one thing that you are definitely doing. And tell me about, well,
I'm sharing for it.
Yes,
I'm sharing on my page for it.
Shamira does social media. She writes. She does producing. She's a filmmaker. But you started really young doing this. Tell me about how you first got started in media.
Well, I started when I was in high school. I got a chance to work with ODU, actually. There was a group of kids that started a filmmaking group. So we just went around. They would pick scenes from their favorite movies, and we would try to duplicate this scene. So that was my introduction into filmmaking because I really liked how you could bring like a story to life and what all went into it. So throughout my young adult years, I guess, I started producing in the community. So I just helped different people on their projects. I help people with their talk shows. I help people on their film and short film projects. And eventually when I got a chance to do my own projects, and I did a project that was really big in the Christian community here, was Why We Pray. So I got a chance to produce and direct and write with that, co-wrote it with one of my filmmaker friends. And it set the tone on what I really want to do here, filmmaking and my faith of how I want to do Christian film.
Wow. So what do you say to people? Because every time I talk to you, you're like, oh, I'm working on my book. Oh, I'm doing this. Where do you find the time, or how do you organize your time to pursue everything that you're working on?
Well, it's called balance. A really good friend of mine told me, because I was doing so many of these things. I like to write, I like to direct, I like to, do filmmaking. And everybody always asks me, what do you like to do for fun? You do that for work. And it's my passion. I love to do what I do for work, And it's all about balance, because you just don't want to lose the sense of reality, building relationships with people and just going out to, just have that natural way of, living. But also just know that after you do your 9 to 5, have an opportunity to, go home and cool down and do what you want to do, which is writing for me. I love to write. So like after I leave work, I have to, get myself in the mindset of I have to write. And I do some writing here for social media posting, but I have to get in a different creative mindset of doing something that I really, really want to do. So it's all about like balancing your time and balancing your relationships around, building relationships with other people.
And what do you found? Like, I know, like, I've had friends that get married. You probably have friends that get married. And I just find once you get married, not that your passions kind of diminish, but your attention is to other things. So while you're single, what are some goals that you set out to say, hey, while it's just me and Jesus, what are some goals you set out to do?
Well, number one, get stronger in the Word. This is a certain time. This is a time in my life that, I don't really have that many worries or frustrations of people in my space all the time. So this is a time to get stronger in the Word, getting stronger, building that relationship with Christ, and understanding that, certain hardships that I would deal with being single. Also, I always tell people travel. If you have an opportunity, just travel. I've been to so many places overseas, Israel, South Africa, London, and just learning the experience of other people is amazing to me. So I love just travel wherever you can go, like even inside of the United States, just having that opportunity to do something for yourself and going out. And also just pick up a skill or a passion of yours. Like if you want to be a blogger, or if you want to do something to step out, but you really haven't got an opportunity to do that, then I would say step out and just experience it without having like another person to be like, see, that failed. That's not bringing money in. So just step out, and if it fails, you lose money, then, it's to yourself. You don't have to tell the whole world about just messing up on things.
Yeah. Now, I want you guys to join into the conversation, you know, comment about some passions that you're pursuing, or even if you have some fears about pursuing some things. I know sometimes I meet some single people and they're like, oh, when I get married, I'll travel, or oh, when I get married. And I'm like, you're not promised. You know, there's no promise that tomorrow's not promised to us. So I'm like, you live now. So if you have the opportunity to go. If you have the opportunity to, you know, learn another language while it's just you and having that joy. Now, one thing, you stepped out on faith a couple years ago and moved to, we call it the left coast. How was that journey in going out to, you know, to Hollywood and working in the industry? What was it like when you first got out there?
Well, I took a leap of faith to go out there to pursue a dream. And I think after college, because when you're in college, you're a baby, then you're like, oh, you can do anything you want to be, and, you know, you can do a lot of things. But when you actually step out and you see the reality of what life is, you know, and, you know, just experience it, it's like when I went there, it was like a lot of things that I haven't seen before, or, you know, relationships, or people, you know, just different personalities. It was kind of a shocker for me. However, I was blessed to get surrounded by Christian people. And that was one thing I would tell anybody. If you move to a different community, or you move into a different, like, area, I guess, just, like, surround yourself around like-minded, you know, Christians, and get involved in organizations that are, you know, believers, because that's what kept me my 4 years living in Los Angeles. So I would definitely say it wasn't a struggle, but it was like definitely a learning curve for me. I had so many opportunities. I am very blessed because I got a chance to work at so many different movie studios, from entry level to, like, even being an assistant at major studios. It was definitely a learning curve, and I'm so excited to have that experience and stuff. And it also brought me closer to, like, my faith as well, because certain situations that you just had to pray through, no one could help you. Only God knew what was really happening. So I always tell people, take a leap of faith, because, you know, you never know what's there and what God is building you to do. And after looking back at my 4 years living in Los Angeles, it's just, I see how much what God was preparing me for, you know, thick skin of dealing with situations and being able to sleep at night when you make a mistake. So that was my whole journey of, like, in Los Angeles for 4 years. And I love it, and I cherish it, you know. So, yeah.
But that's a great opportunity, or a great time, I would say, of maximizing, you know, this time. One thing, T.D. Jakes and Steve Furtick had a conversation. Well, I think Steve Furtick interviewed him. And there was a scripture, and I meant to look it up before I got here, but I totally forgot. But I think it's in Isaiah. But T.D. Jakes said, it talks about when you're young, this is your time to devour. And then when you're old, you kind of have the spoils. What advice, because you also have it's not a ministry, the post-college rehab. Yeah. Well, share what post-college rehab is, and then what would your advice to be for young singles now? Things that they can be doing and working on to maximize this time.
Okay, I might have to give me that question twice. But post-college rehab is basically it's a blog. It's a video blog, actually. We haven't launched our second phase yet, but we will be launching, like, maybe late May. It's basically for college graduates to come and just read about different things, like from career, from finances, from, like, lifestyle. It's, like, basically more of an emotional blog, because a lot of us, you know, we graduate, we think that we're, like, on this high, and next minute we get slapped in the face by certain things, like pay when you graduate college and in life. Yeah, so, like, we have it's a blog for graduates, and I felt in my heart that a lot of people think that they're going through this alone. But when I started talking to my peers who were maybe doing better than me, they were going through a lot of things. So I started this blog, and it's just, I build a community of people coming to the blog and just sharing information, sharing job leads, and even sharing, like, their experience after college. The next part of the question was,
what advice would you give to young singles now for this time in your life? Because I know people, you know, you want to be in relationships, you want to get married, but it may not be happening right now. So what are some things, advice that you would give?
I would say maximize your time. Like, I mean, I know you might feel lazy, you might feel tired, but this is the opportunity to just run after, go after everything that you want to do. Like, just try anything. If you want to be like a chef, if you want to film a movie, this is the time to do it. Also balance it and make sure that you build relationships and friendships with people, because you never know where those relationships is going to end, like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 4 years from now. So that's one thing I have learned when I moved to Los Angeles, is relationships are better than, you know, your coworker or work buddy. Like, oh, you only see each other at work. But when you build relationships with people and friendships, then 4 years from now, 5 years, it will go by fast. And next minute, you have like a co-executive producer on your film, because you already build that relationship. So it's all about maximizing your time and just trying new things, a language, like you said. I actually was taking Mandarin classes when I was in Los Angeles, and just, you know, doing different things that just I wouldn't be allowed to do if I had a whole bunch of when I have a kid or something, a child, that I wouldn't be able to, you know, do on my spare time. So yeah.
And lastly, like, what advice? I know you said go, you know, deep in the Lord and that. What is there any other advice you would give on spiritually? Like, I feel like my time with the Lord now is uninterrupted. I can go home, I can spend as much time, I can do whatever I want to do for, and I just say younger people, because you're on the younger end. What would your encouragement to be as far as like pursuing the Lord at this time?
Be still. Be still. And it may seem like, oh, come on now, you know, but that's very important, because if you're always, like I told you, go and do things, however, just learn how to be still in the Lord, because we have so much things that's happening in today's world. We got our cell phones, we got the movies playing on the iPad, we got TV, we got people talking, and we're always on the go digitally. But if it's very important to take time at the end of the day to cool down, to, you know, digress, and just, you know, just being able to be still in God's presence. And it's not really more of like being in the Word, being aware, spiritually aware of God and His presence around you. That's very important, because sometimes you just don't know, you can lose that. You know, you just want to be on your cell phone and check your text messages, and the next minute you're like, you know, I need to really be still. So I would say that learn how to be still in the morning and after in the evening when you're, you know, done with like life or work and stuff.
Wow. Is there any other maximizing tips you have before we go?
No, I mean, just be great, and just know that God is with you, and also just be able to like just balance your time and don't stress. Do not stress and do not become frustrated, because at the end of the day, I have learned that people who are more stressed and frustrated do not go, they're not running as fast as the people who just sleep and they're patient and they're just going with the flow. So always go with the flow and just, you know, thank God for every day and every second.
Yeah. And I always say, even like when you went to California, I know financially that was a strain. But I'm like, if it's just you can eat cereal, you can eat bologna sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
You can make it.
I had cooked for days. And I mean, you could really, honestly, California is not as expensive as what you think. Rent is expensive. But if you want to live there as a single person, you can get away. You can buy groceries for last a month off, like for $50, and that's what I did. Go to certain areas, you be good.
Good. Well, guys, make sure if you watch the video when it airs again, make sure you comment. Let us know how you're maximizing your time as a single. Shamira, thank you so much.
For having me.
I look forward to big things. She's writing a book, y'all. That's another thing she's doing.
I'm writing a book.
So we got to be on the lookout for that. But I wanted to have her on because I always say Shamira, she got the most diligent hands I know. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Bye.
Bye.